Hey guys, it's Soncerae here, and so I have come today answering questions that have been in my email box for the past 2 weeks. I am going to spend my next couple of live streams answering these questions for women who, have been taking the time to email me. It's been a lot of women, so I'm going to try to answer everyone one at a time. Some of the emails I have actually answered inside of my inbox, and some of them I just decided to do a video about. And this specific this specific question is about me being a baby mama. And a lot of women wanted to know why I never consider myself a baby mama or a single mother for the past 18 years with me having an 18-year-old. And now I consider myself a single mother now that I have a 2-week-old. And, what's the difference? And so the reason why I never considered myself a single mother with my oldest daughter is because her father was always there. Like, he was always there. Is he crying? Look, I just laid him down. I'm thinking he's sleeping, and clearly he's not sleeping. Like, I'll be back home. Okay. But clearly he wasn't asleep. I thought he was asleep, but clearly he wasn't asleep. So I don't know. Sometimes he does that. Sometimes he'll be sleeping and he'll be, like sound asleep, and then he'll wake up and want to be right next to me. Like, 'cause a lot of times he just wants to be next to me. But with my daughter was she'll be 18 by the end of the year, and I never classified myself as a baby mama or a single mother because number one, to me, a single mother is a mother who is taking care of a child alone. You know what I mean? Like, that's always, how it registered in my mind because my daughter's father was always there, meaning he never missed a doctor's appointment, he never missed a recital, he never missed any type of performance or any type of school activity. He was always there every single time. Sometimes we ate dinner together, sometimes we ate breakfast together, we went out and did things together. It never felt like I was a single mother at all. So when I would see other women and they would be walking around and they would be taking care of their children, they would be taking care of their children alone with no man present at all. So to me, that was a single mother. She was going around here doing everything on her own, taking care of all the bills. Even if she wasn't getting the child support check, she was just going out there doing everything on her own. So to me, that was the definition of a single mother. I just felt like I didn't deserve the title of being a single mother, because to me, being a single mom was like something that um, you had to have a lot of strength to do. It's almost like when I try to explain to people, like, not every Black woman is a queen. Some women are queens and some Black women are not queens. Not everybody deserves to be called queen. You understand? To me, there was a level of respect there. Like, you can't call me a single mother because I'm not the type of woman that's going out here doing this all on my own. And it takes a lot to go out there and do it all on your own, right? So for a long time, I just never classified myself as a single mother. Now, the reason why I never classified myself as a baby mama is because my daughter's father never called me such. Like, if he introduced me to somebody, or if he was talking to somebody else about me, or something like that, he just had a level of respect for me, whether to where calling me baby mama just seemed disrespectful to him. So he never called me that. It was either Soncerae or Dominique's mom. It was never, oh, that's my baby mama. You know what I'm saying? I think it's because he just didn't have that type of mentality to where first of all, my daughter's father isn't like hood at all. So maybe it's like a hood mentality thing or a ghetto thing to call somebody a baby mama. I think it might just be a derogatory term because to me, I never called him baby daddy. Like, I never introduced my daughter's father as baby daddy. Like I just never called him that to someone. I would say, Dominique's dad or Dominique's father, or I'll call him by his name. I never. To me, it just seemed like calling him my baby daddy was just derogatory. Like he just never deserved that type of title. If you catch what I mean, it just didn't fit him to me. But right now, as I'm sitting here and I have a 2-week-old, I see that I had am having I had a child by someone who has the type of mentality that's kind of lower level. You understand what I'm saying? So in his eyes, he's probably, oh, this is my baby mama, because it's almost like a disrespectful thing. Like some men just don't know how to respect themselves. They're women, women that have mothered their children. Some men just don't know how to do that. Like as a woman, you kind of got to teach a man, okay, you will respect me as the mother of your child, or you will respect me by not calling me blah blah blah. And so to me, I just happen to be in one of those situations now where I can call myself a single mother. I'm taking care of a child by myself. My mother is around to help, of course, and then Justice has a godfather who helps, and Justice also has another friend of mine who is such an angel, who helps out so much, and they're both male and they're both Black, so they help tremendously when it comes to my son. So um, I have that support system, but at the same time, it's like I'm a single mom now, and I don't look at it as like some type of derogatory thing. Now, I think I was looking at it before as like this powerful thing, and then I started hearing how men use it in a derogatory way. Like me, it always, for a woman to be called a single mother, to me it had like so much strength to it. Um, but then when I hear men talk about it, they talk about it in such a derogatory way, like being a single mother is like this horrible thing. But to me, a single mother is precious. You're taking care of a child alone. Like a lot of men don't understand, especially if they don't have children themselves. They don't understand how much time and how much energy you have to put into taking care of a child. A child is supposed to have both parents. So if the child doesn't have one or the other, it's kind of like, it becomes a little bit harder for you as a parent. And I never had that struggle, not even when I was pregnant. Like my daughter's father was there during my pregnancy. Even if he had decided he didn't want to be in a relationship anymore, he still was there. You see what I'm saying? Because my daughter's well-being was important to him from the beginning. So then you meet men who feel like babies aren't alive until they're born, when in actuality, they're alive when they're inside of the mother. So you should want to take care of the mother as well. But a lot of men, like I said, do not have that mentality. They don't think in that type of way. It's actually detrimental to even, think in such a way, but that's just how some men think. I filed for child support yesterday. And I was shocked because for number one, I thought Justice's Social Security card would take longer to come into the mail because they did say it was going to take some time. So I was thinking, okay, it's going to take a month or two for me to get Justice's Social Security number, but did not happen. That shit came already. And so yesterday I filed for child support, and they were asking me a lot of damn questions. They even asked me for Justice's father's like relatives, spouses, anybody. They was like, do you have any phone numbers or addresses of spouses and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay. So I gave what I knew. But that's the price of being a baby mama, having to file for child support. And my thing is, it's not even something that I'm happy about. Like it's not even something that I even. Uh, it's just unfortunate to me. It's unfortunate that I have to even go there. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't do that with my daughter's father. So this is just unfortunate. But filing yesterday was a learning experience because I had to ask like secondary questions because Justice's father lives in Georgia and I live in California. So it was like, okay, now what? Now what? Now I did tell them I wanted a mandatory paternity test because that's what his father wants, which is I feel like is a waste of time and saliva and money. But sometimes, like I said, that mentality, you go back to the mentality of some men. A lot of men who grew up in a certain type of environment feel like all women are going to be like these horrible creatures who pin babies on men that don't that the babies don't belong to them. Like this is an episode of Maury and shit. People tend to think that men tend to think that when they grow up in a specific type of environment. But usually, if you're the type of man that you can trust yourself in regards to the type of people you have chosen to bring into your life. You'll know if you're a good man and you're good at picking women, you'll know that the women in your life that that you have chosen are actually good women and will never put you in a position to where you'll be taking care of a child that doesn't belong to you. That's just talking about men who actually have taken the time to actually um, mold themselves into good men and educate themselves and make themselves financially stable and blah blah blah. Spiritually in tune, guys. I have lately been keeping my eye on men because men are like, I don't know, they're kind of cuckoo, right? So I have been like watching the men around me and watching the different responses to uh, the responses that men have pertaining to some of the experiences that they're having with women. And it's been a very interesting thing to watch, excluding myself. Because before, like, and I said this before, I give relationship advice on my main channel, right? And it's easier for me to look out into the world and see somebody else's relationship clearer than I see my own. So when people ask me for advice, it's so easy for me to give them advice and regardless to whether or not my relationships have been pleasant or not. You know what I'm saying? It's so much easier for me to say, hey, follow this type of advice versus me following it myself. And so as I'm seeing like my cousins date and I'm seeing my cousins get divorced and I'm seeing my married cousins and I'm seeing like aunts and uncles married and we're sitting down and we're talking about like relationships and blah, blah, blah. It just amazes me to know what makes a relationship work. And I actually know what makes a relationship work or what makes a family a healthy one. And when you decide to pick someone to have children with, and they turn out to not be the person that you thought they were, it could be devastating for you. Like I was talking to my mother before she left. She left and went somewhere. I don't know where she went. She went to get coffee or something. I don't know. Oh, I know where she went. She went to Walmart to go get like a cake. The cake thing that you put the cake in and then you cover the cake. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you put the cake on display, you got to put the top on the cake. Anyway, she went and bought that. And so before she left, we were talking about how I'm going to raise Justice and what kind of mother would I be without her, without me having what, I'm sorry, what kind of mother would I be without having Justice's father around, right? So excuse me, she's like, well, you just need to keep him busy and you just need to make sure that he's playing in this sport and that sport and blah, 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 whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo. I'm like, okay, that should be easy because we're in California. California is one of those places where it's activity. You're going to be moving around and you're going to be like really getting it in because you can't really, that's what everybody does. Everybody's moving, 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 moving. At least that's how it is in San Francisco. And so anyway, I said to her, the conversations that I had with Justice's father, I never would have guessed in a million years that I would be a baby mama or that I would be a single mother because it doesn't fit, right? And so she said to me, well, what was it? You just talked about raising kids together? I said, no, that's not it. What it is was the plan, because we were talking about moving to California together. We were talking about um, what kind of grandparents we would be. So I was like, for us to have sat down and said, we're going to be grandparents and we're going to talk to our grandkids about all of the amazing things that we did when we were younger, that meant that we were considering being with each other for the long haul. So for that not to be what's happening right now, it's kind of like a shock. It's hitting me sideways because I never would have thought in a million years this is the kind of life that I would have for my son, where he wouldn't have his father around. So my biggest concern has been, I'm a baby mama, I'm a single mother. What comes with that? What's the price of being a baby mama? What's the price of being a single mother? You know what I mean? What comes with that, and how does that even work? And like I explained earlier, why I never thought I was one before now. It's because the man in my life had a better character than, my daughter's father just had a better character than my son's father does. So my daughter's father just didn't put me in a position for, the 20 years that I known him. He didn't put me in like this disrespectful, derogatory position because he doesn't put himself there. You see what I'm saying? Like, he looks at himself as if he's a certain type of man. So he's not going to have a certain type of woman around him. So he's not going to be like, this my baby mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, no, this is, like disrespecting me. He's never done that. Like, he's just not that type of guy. So, it all goes back to men and men leading. Like, I think my daughter's father just led me in a different direction. He didn't direct me into single mother, baby mama lane. He directed me into, okay, you're the mother of my child. We're not together, but I'm going to treat you with some respect because we have a child, and I want my child to see me and you respect each other from jump. And I want you to understand that I care for my child, so I'm going to do whatever I need to do in order to make sure the welfare of my child is, 100%. But with my son's father, with him, it's more of he's a selfish. So it's like, I feel such and such way, so I'm not going to take care of my son. I don't like you as a person, so I'm not going to take care of my son. Or we had problems inside of our relationship, so I want a DNA test. I'm not going to show up to the labor and delivery because blah, blah, blah. All things that have nothing to do with the welfare of our son in a positive way. And like I said, when my daughter's father realized he didn't want to be in a relationship, he didn't just disappear altogether. He was just like, I got a child. Like, me and you are going to sit here and respect, whatever type of cordial relationship we can have with each other in order to co-parent. And so my daughter's father's mindset is just different in regards to how he sees himself. Like, he just wasn't going to put himself in a situation where life was more complicated than it had to be. And that's really all I can say about that. Like, this is the only difference. It just depends on what kind of man you're dealing with. Are you dealing with a real man? Or are you dealing with a man who's still trying to figure out life? Like, he doesn't even know. What's interesting? I had my daughter's 18. My daughter's father was 24, 23 when we had our daughter. My son is 2 weeks old. His father is 37. The age difference, you would think that my son's father would be more mature than my daughter's father was when my daughter's father was 24. But my daughter's father had a level of maturity at 24 that's higher than the level of maturity that my son's father has at 37. So that lets you know right there that age has nothing to do with maturity. It has nothing to do with whether a person is a good father or a bad father or whatever the case is, or even a good mother or a bad mother. It has more to do with, I think, how that person looks at themselves. Has that person actually took the time to mold their own character? Has that person educated themselves and you know, put themselves in a place financially where they'll be able to take care of a child or take care of themselves if need be. Because I mean, I'm thinking about when I first started dating my daughter's father. He's always had like a car and a job. Like even when we were teenagers, he always had like himself together, you know. And it could be because he had his mother and his father. You know what I mean? Like people say, hey, you know, people who had their mother and their father, they tend to be stabler versus men and women who grew up in single parent homes, you know, and that's one of the things that worried about with justice. And I said to my mother, you know, I just do not want, you know, the negative things that come with a child growing up in a single parent home to be part of Justice's life. I don't want him to be a product of his environment or it, not even his environment, because his environment is so positive and it will continue to be that way as I continue to grow, you know, and move into a bigger house, you know, because the house that I live in right now is just somewhere where I'm going to live until I decide where I want home to be. And then that's another thing that me and my mother was talking about. We were talking about how I want a place for when Justice leaves to be able to come back to and say, this is home. And I told her when he gets at least 5, I already want to be living in the, you know, the home that I already, you know, want to be living in for the rest of my life. And it is not even that I want to rent. I want to buy some land and build my house on top of it. And so that's the goal within the next 5 years, to buy land here in California and then build my house on top of it. And that will be the home that Justice, when he, you know, goes to college, he can always come back home or whatever, just that one place, you know, he can circle back to. And so, you know, the legacy of, you know, the legacy is what I want to preserve, and I want my son to understand the purpose of it, the point of, you know, creating a legacy for your children. And I don't want the friction between me and his father to be something that affects him in a way to where he even thinks having a baby mama or making a woman a single mother is appropriate. You understand? I want him to be a little bit more responsible and never to have the conversation with a woman as if he wants to have a family or something like that when he doesn't. So that's what I've just been thinking about mainly. And so when people ask me questions, like this lady asked me, you know, what's the difference between, you know, you and your daughter's father, and you not thinking you was a single mother then versus you thinking you're one now because of your situation with Justice's father. And that's the only difference I can think of. It's just dealing with the man. The man was just in a different headspace, meaning more responsible, financially stable, had a better character. My daughter's father just has a better, you know, understanding of family and money and finances and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's the only difference. But yeah, anybody have any more questions for me? You know, you can email me at soncerae@gmail.com. I will be happy to answer any questions about justice or parenting or anything like that. Will be on this Raising Justice channel. Anything about relationships, of course, it will be on my regular Soncerae channel. Okay, so if you want to email me, you can. And I appreciate all of the people who have bought from my registry and the congratulations that I'm getting as of lately. Of course, there's more adventures going on with Justice. Like every week, it is something new with Justice. Like I've had like a interesting couple of 2 weeks. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. Have vision and stay focused, guys. Namaste.